Hi, it's Empress Rose here, and welcome to Temperance, card number 14. So this is a lot like the Death card. It comes right after the Death card. So the rite of passage, or the internal transition that we made in the Death card now starts to become externalized. It's not fully externalized. This is the time it takes between when the internal transition takes place and we see it in our reality. It is it's a passage, but we're neither here nor there. We're in both worlds and neither world at the same time. So in our Kabbalah, we have the Temperance right here, going straight from the heart of the matter to Yesod, to this sort of beginning of the emergence, and this would be sort of our birth canal here, if we're going to keep doing that analogy. And so we have the tower moment here, we have the tower, or the tower situation that happens here. And Temperance can be a bridge, maybe even a tunnel underneath that tower, a way of dealing with some of the biggest things that come through our life. But it can be a way of, rather than experiencing a very harsh tower, this is a very gentle energy. So we're neither in the heart of the matter, but neither are we actually there. We're not there yet, basically, is what the question is. Are we there yet? And this is no, we're not there yet. It's going to take the time it takes. So so being in two moments, and this can be the saddle on which we ride the tower, the bucking tower moment, or this can really be the bridge over the trauma or through the difficulty. It's not the easiest approach, but it is one of the healthiest ways to approach the tower. So it does relate to the zodiac sign Sagittarius, is how this is traditionally related, and there's some mystery around that. But I think it's about Sagittarius is the arrow. It's about the flight. You're no longer in the bow, but neither have you hit your mark. It is the arrow. It's like the airplane, right? We were talking at the end of the Death card how we're changing our mode of transportation. You know, the caterpillar, we're no longer going to be inching along the ground. We're going to be flying through the air as a butterfly. So this is similar in that. So in the Death card, we've realized like maybe we're no longer driving, we're going to fly now. And this is being in the airplane, being in that large sort of arrow shooting across the sky. We're in the airplane. We're neither here nor there. We haven't arrived yet. We've left the airport, but we haven't arrived where we're going. So that arrival is going to take the time it takes. So I always see, and we've got three bartenders here, very clearly depicted. This is my cosmic bartender, right? This is an angel. The angel is very specifically depicted as neither male nor female, again, referencing that neither this nor that, but something in there, though. In between. So we have this angel, divine guidance, divine timing, and we have the bartender. She's mixing, or he's mixing, they are mixing the bitters and the simple syrups, right? So we don't want to really drink simple syrup alone, and I don't really want to drink the bitters alone, but mix them together. And then with the alcohol, we can actually like drink quite a strong drink if it's really well mixed, and a lot of attention has been paid to that mixing. You can squeeze quite a bit of alcohol in, and your taste buds won't know a thing until much later. So this is the cosmic bartender mixing, and it's going to take time. It takes time to really mix something. It takes time to develop a great recipe. It takes time to mix it. And then these irises are representing divine messages that come in while we're here, sort of the divine timing aspect. You're on the way. She's standing both on land, or they are standing both on land and on water. So being in two worlds, the aspect of being neither here nor there, but being in two worlds, being both grounded, but also in the flow of something, and wanting to hit that lovely internal note of being both grounded and also flowing, much like yoga, grounding each position with the breath, but yet we're also moving, but we're grounding with the breath. So we're doing both things. We're both moving and standing still. Here we have the new dawn, the new day, the new reality coming in, some difficulties back here, but here's this really nice straight path. Really good path. This is a great way to go with this patience and waiting on divine timing and understanding that things do take the time they take. So this this is sort of a really good opportunity to go with the flow while also remaining grounded in who you are while the world around you flows, or flowing while the world around you stays the same. So there's a mix of both things happening right here. Again, if we resist this, we end up in the devil energy. So this is a really, really healthy way to deal with some of the bigger transitions in our life, is to understand that it's going to be a transition period, is what Temperance often comes across to me as a transitional period where we're neither here nor there. We're not who we used to be. We're not who we're going to be. We're not at home, and we have yet to arrive at Arches National Park. And so for our road trip analogy, are we there yet? The answer is no. We're not there yet, but we are on our way. We're getting there. We're just not there yet. So, so divine timing, things taking the time that they take. So the traditional meanings with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck are moderation, management, accommodation. There could be a mediation as well. You know, two sides coming together to create something, compromise, mediation. Yeah, two sides coming together to make something that's good for both of them, that benefits both of them, that complements both of them, are what we pick for the simple syrup complements what we have for the bitters and the alcohol, and vice versa. And so it ends up better, the drink ends up better for having been mixed, stronger for having been mixed. Now we have some other cards like the Five of Swords where there's no win-win solution, there's no compromise available, or even the Two of Pentacles can sometimes be no compromise available, you have to pick one or the other. But this can be blended. This is a big blender. We can blend these things, and both things are going to be, both parties are going to be happier and better and stronger for the compromise or the mediation that's occurred here. So, and then we have this one. This one comes in with some really gentle energy. Again, we have the Cosmic Bartender. Again, she's both standing on solid ground and also in the water, in the flow. Again, we've got divine timing here. We've got a lot of sort of, we'll get there when we get there. When Spirit says you've arrived is when you've arrived. So the Iris is the angel, the assistance while you're here. And I get a sense of, you know, the sharp edges. This is so gentle here. The depiction here is so gentle that these sharp edges, the sharpness that can come both with sweets and with bitters, is being sort of sanded off, right? There's a sense of, you know, in relationships and marriages and long-term relationships, we can kind of sand off each other's rough edges and gentle each other. And that's what's happening here, is this gentling of maybe some strong forces having to come together, and we're mediating them. We're gentling, we're calming each one, and gentling them down, making them much more palatable and in a way much stronger. Like the diversity of ingredients we have in this drink actually makes it so that it can be stronger. We can handle more when we mix things up a little bit and combine some things. So being stronger for the variety that's coming together, the variety of ideas. This can also be a little bit of teamwork, a little bit of the Three of Pentacles energy coming in here with this combining of ideas, making for a much better final idea, like two heads are better than one kind of idea here. So in the Santa Muerte, again, we've got another bartender here. We've got the sun, the new day rising behind her, sort of, and here she is. She's mixing the drinks. This one seems to just take a lot of delight in creating something new out of two separate entities, two very different things. And we see both like desert and jungle coming together here to make a much more temperate climate. So it's not just all water and hot humidity, and it's not just dry sand. It's a combination of the two. It's where those two things can meet to make a much more livable space. A much more palatable, easier to survive, easier to live in space. So she's bringing both jungle and desert together to create a really lovely temperate climate, hence the word temperance. So, and there can also be a sense here of reconciling to your destiny, right? We've just had sort of the reality. We've given away our vision. In the death card, we give away from our vision into reality. We understand that reality is going to look very different. And this is sort of adjusting to a new reality, adjusting to something that's come in, right? It's that bridge over the tower. So the tower brings in a whole new reality in some aspect, or sometimes in the whole of our life. The Tower brings in a new reality, and this is like the adjusting to the new reality. Okay, the bathroom is no longer to the left, the bathroom's to the right. It's just gonna take a few weeks of me waking up in the middle of the night to realize that the bathroom is in a different location, as am I. It's just gonna take some time, and it's just gonna take the time it takes, but I'll get there. There's a sense of confidence here that should be coming in with the Temperance card, that you will get there, you will adjust. This is just a time period where it's just gonna take some time for you to realize what's going on, what's happened, and what the new reality is, and get used to it, getting used to a new reality. So there's a sense also of cooperation needed, mixing together of opposite needs. Maybe two people need very different things, and we're finding compromise again between those two things. So again, we have the sense of two things, and we have a sense of flow. Either we're here or there, and maybe our brain is still living in the old house, but our body's in the new house, and there's an adjustment period. We've left the airport, but we haven't arrived in the new airport. We're in this transitional period. Or it can be a negotiation. And this is a good negotiation where both sides are being taken into account and they can blend. With our Two of Pentacles, we can't really blend the two things. They're not going to work. There's not compromise with that. Each thing needs its own space. So we either need to make decisions or we need to pay attention to one thing at a time. This is we can blend the two things. So this is a really positive card if you get it in your to-do list or any part of that. This is of what can be done, what can be accomplished. This is compromise is available. Compromise, gentle the energy, compromise is possible. Here we have, in this Temperance card, we have the gentling energy here in this sort of gossamer, beautiful dress here, and these doves of peace. There's this gentling energy. And this always reminds me of a surprising, shocking time. Like the red really comes in as quite a visual shock in this card. And to me, this umbrella represents both a protected time and also time with boundaries on it. This isn't going to go on forever. This transition isn't endless, right? Eventually the bartender gives us our drink, right? They're not going to do like a 10-minute little display and shake and throw it all up in the air kind of thing. For the rest of their lives, eventually they give us the drink. So this umbrella talks to me about a protected time and isolated time. And the color also shows some sort of shock or surprise or something that's a little bit jarring that we're getting used to. But here we bring in this really gentle energy and a lot of peace to the energy. But it is a limited time. And that's what this umbrella just reminds me of. It's limited. It's not going on forever. It's got edges. It's got we are in a limited time period where we have a time to adjust. We have time to negotiate. This would be negotiating before everybody goes and gets their lawyers, like trying to mediate something before everybody goes their separate ways. You have some time to do that right now. So this one definitely talks to me about this is a limited time. The plane is eventually going to land. You're in a plane, not a satellite. It's not in orbit forever. It's going to land in the next airport. So there's a limited time to this Temperance. It's going to take the time it takes, but you are going to get there. You're not going to take the wrong turn out of your bedroom for the rest of your life when you move to a new apartment, right? It's just a period of transition. So that's what this reminds me of, is a period of transition. We have this one, just straight up patience. I like this one from the Good Tarot. She's right on her nipple, right where that would be. We have this clock, the nurturing ability of time. It takes the time it takes, and it's meant for your growth, for your benefit. It's meant to nurture you. This time period is meant for your benefit. So if you're in a neither here nor there time period, this is for you. This is a safe space for you, someplace that's actually nurturing and for your benefit. With the Guardians of the Night, also by Cullinane, we have the Temperance card, the frog. Amphibious, of both the water and the land, lives in two worlds. Also the sense of the Sagittarius, the movement forward, the leap forward, moving between two places. I guess the frog, and when it leaps, it's also from the sky too, right? It's a little bit of a bird sometimes when it leaps. So these leaps forward, growth, being in both worlds though, being both of the water and of the land, being both grounded, and the emotions and feelings that can come up during these transitional periods. And then finally, also from the same artist, we have the Temperance from the ForHaxa. And this, she talks about a torrent becoming a sprinkle. So to me, this is could be also depicted as a hose attached to a sprinkler. So if we take a hose out onto our new garden and we just pour the hose, most of us, our water pressure is just going to destroy that soil, destroy the seedlings. It's way too much. It's way too powerful. It's like, you know, a really strong drink that's very poorly mixed. I mean, at least you get your money's worth at that in this particular place, but it's a strong drink. It's too strong. It's too strong. And like, why did you put the 2 drops of Coke in my rum and Coke? I don't really, that's just gross now. It's not actually anything. It's just gross. That was a very simple cocktail I concocted there, but you know, it's just too strong. So this temperance takes it and turns it into a sprinkle. So that sprinkler, that mister, you know, we can put the little nozzle onto mist rather than stream. That stream's going to destroy our brand new garden. But the mister, all those seeds are going to grow with the mister, right? It's the same materials. It's the same water. It's the same, this would be like combining metal and water. So I guess we still have earth and water coming in here. So it's exactly the same as it's the same water coming out. It's the same life-giving energy coming out. But this way, it's much more palatable. It's much easier to deal with. The seedlings aren't going to be destroyed by it. They're going to be nourished by it. So it's a way of tempering that huge energetic shifts, huge directional movement, a very strong stream, and turning it into a sprinkle or a mist. And having that be, and that's going to be better. It's the same thing. You get the same water. It's just much easier to handle and much less destructive, right? If we were filling up a bucket, we don't really want the spray nozzle, but that's not what we're talking about here. So this is talking about, you know, a mystical being, magical being from the ForHaxa deck that can transform these powerful, difficult energies into something gentle and life-giving, right? There's a whole storm going on up here, and she's able to channel that storm, channel that energy. There is a sense of grounding, though, and I like it with the lightning bolts here hitting her. She's grounding the lightning. She's acting as a lightning rod and taking all that energy from the sky, all that energy from nature, from this transition, right? Storms coming through when we've got different when we've got hot and cold air meeting each other. That's why we have, you know, stormy springs and falls, is that the hot and cold air is meeting each other and trying to mix, and it's creating these really powerful storms. And she's able to channel that lightning, to grab that lightning and have it not burn the church down, which is what was happening with steeples when Ben Franklin first invented the lightning rod. So this is sort of, you're getting a little bit of a lightning rod. Yes, lightning is going to hit your building, but it's going to cause no harm and cause no damage. And this relates directly to the tower. We get a hint of that tower, that lightning that comes in and hits that tower. Well, instead of destroying the steeple, instead of destroying the tower, this angel, this protective being is here to absorb all of that energy and channel it in a much more useful, less destructive way. So, and the same with the torrent of rain coming through here is being channeled through the sprinkler, through sort of this, the sprinkler fairy, who's going to turn it into a nice little mist for everyone's benefit and enjoyment. So turning those powerful energies into something more enjoyable. So overall for the temperance, we just see something being gentled, being a lot gentler than it would have been, you know, and even with mediation and all of that, like no one's dictating. We don't have an emperor here coming in and dictating. We have both parties coming together in a much more gentle way. So the temperance is about time, about things taking the time they take, and about things being gentle during that time. Like the transition between living in one house to another, allowing for that transition to happen, right? It can be a little bit shocking. It can definitely qualify as a tower situation there. Moving would be a very clear tower situation, but this way we're allowing ourselves time to adjust, to get used to something, to understand that this doesn't necessarily have to be a big giant crisis if we give ourselves some time. So temperance, right, we have patience here, but there's also gentleness. The divine is giving you a little bit of gentleness to deal with the situation. And we have, you know, some peace coming in here. So yeah, a limit, and it's limited time, but it is something going to take the time it takes. Compromise, gentleness, And that is the Temperance card. Thanks for joining me for these little chats. Oh, we are not done yet with this one. We need to talk about the reversed. Reverse, we're going to be talking about unfortunate combinations. We're going to be talking about harshness coming in here, things being too much to handle all at once. We're talking about impatience and competing interests that cannot be combined. So we're talking about like mediation that falls apart. Mediation where, you know, there's actually not a win-win situation available, more of a Five of Swords energy. There's no win-win situation. We can't combine. We can't find a compromise. No compromise is available. And things are very extreme right now. And there's not a lot of gentleness. There's no patience. There's no time for that. Things can be very extreme here. Rivalries. Just the absence of a win-win solution, no compromise available. So similar cards, though, would be the Seven of Pentacles, patience and waiting, having put work in and waiting for it to come to fruition, waiting for it to, the fruits of your labors to ripen, waiting for something to come in, so coming in with more patience. And then we have the Strength card also coming in with a little bit of a patience vibe here. And then we have Six of Pentacles also, so 6 and 7 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Pentacles is about that balance and things being fair overall, even though sometimes they don't seem like it in each moment, but things being balanced out and fair overall. So, okay, now I think we have completed talking about temperance as far as my knowledge base goes right now.